Disclaimer, this video is made for entertainment purposes and background listening purposes only and not meant to be a credible source of research or information, as everything found was just compiled from information I found on the internet and put into this video. I am not a botanist, so keep that in mind as you are listening, and other than that, enjoy the video. Hi, I'm Lady. Welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about a very popular member of the Solanum family. Solanum? I think I butchered that, but let's try anyway. Today we're going to be talking about nightshade. And no, not my cat. Sorry, there's someone walking a dog outside. But we're going to be talking about the plant. As a plant, deadly nightshade is long with thin branches and has green leaves that are oval-shaped and end in pointed tips. The leaves are also strongly ribbed but smooth and untoothed. The flowers are bell-shaped and go out into about 5 points at the tip of the flower's body and are a dark purple or sometimes light purple brown with a green tinge and have a mild but sweet scent. They appear right before the berries, which are green at first before turning a shiny black. The berries grow separately as opposed to in bunches, and the plant blooms for an extended amount of time from June to about early September, and are advised to be handled with gloves, as touching this plant can be harmful if you have any cuts or other wounds. Also known as Atropa belladonna, Atropa in reference to one of the fates, Atropos, the oldest, who is believed to be the one who cuts the thread symbolizing people's lives, meaning she basically was the fate in charge of deciding when people died. And belladonna, which comes from the Italian language meaning beautiful woman, bella meaning beautiful, and donna meaning woman. The origins of this part of the plant's name are probably due to its cosmetics use during the Renaissance-ish era. I tried to get a more accurate time frame, but I saw Renaissance in 18th century, so we're just going to say between the 14th and the 18th century, this plant was used as a cosmetic product, as women would use it to dilate their pupils, as that was in trend for that time frame. They would also crush the leaves and berries to make a kind of blush, which don't do any of those things, please. It's believed that women would drink a couple of drops from the berries in order to achieve this effect, as it has a couple of compounds that blocks the receptors in the muscles that allow the constriction of the pupil. So that's how it's thought to have worked. So how did a beauty product that was associated with women's cosmetics and given the beautiful name belladonna end up becoming a deadly poison? Well, two components, atropine and scopolamine. Those are the two ingredients or compounds within the berry that are thought to give deadly nightshade its deadly effect, as it reduces the secretions that come out of your mouth and respiratory passages, as well as causes involuntary spasms and paralysis of muscles in the body, including the heart. Sounds like a painful way to die. No thank you for me. In fact, only 2 berries is enough to kill a small child. Yeah, creepy. And chewing on a leaf is enough to end your life. It is a seriously deadly plant. The most poisonous part of the deadly nightshade, though, is the roots. Though I wouldn't recommend trying to cook and eat any part of the plant, as if you're lucky, you'll probably end up with delirium and hallucinations. But there's safer ways to do that, so please don't go trying to get wrecked on this plant, because chances are you're not going to do it right. And what are your chances of dying of eating nightshade incorrectly? Will you die if you eat nightshade incorrectly, because this is an 8-ball? As I see it, yes. Yeah, 8-ball agrees. Don't try eating deadly nightshade. But despite the fact that the plants shifted and got a new nickname of deadly nightshade, that didn't stop women from using it in their cosmetics. It just gave them an alternative use. Killing their husbands. That's not funny, but I had to laugh because it's an uncomfortable thing to say. Enter Giulia Tufana. She had a makeup business turned poison business. Yeah, in the 17th century, in a time of arranged marriages, when women really didn't get a say and divorce wasn't an option, a lot of women ended up coming to Giulia Tufana to get a poison that she made. It was marked as a perfume at first called Aqua Tufana, and it had arsenic, lead, and of course our main girl, belladonna. And another fun and scary fact about belladonna is the berries taste deceptively sweet. So when you're poisoned with it, you can't taste it in food or drink because it's just a sweet flavor, especially if they add it to like a juice or a dessert. So obviously this sold a lot for women who really were desperate to get out of marriages, as maybe a lot of them weren't treated well. I can't say that every single one of these was justified, but there was probably a couple where they wanted to get out and there was no other way out. So there's that. It's thought that she helped to kill over 600 men between the years 1633 to 1651. Let me just double check that in my notes. Yep, 1633 to 1651. That's a lot of people. And the only reason she got caught is because one of her clients didn't manage to go through with it. And when her husband found out, he kind of made a rat. And she was caught, arrested, and executed. Sucks. No good deed goes unpunished. Though I don't know if killing people is a good deed. Maybe that's a bad way to use that one. I don't know. It's catch-22. Not the best. But after being thought to be a poison, it did have a lot of not so accurate deaths, as I found a list of people who supposedly died to belladonna, and after researching it more and fact-checking it, I found it was pretty inconclusive because some of it was really iffy and the rest of them, it was just a flat-out lie. So I don't know. Some notable figures are said to have been killed by this plant. It's kind of up in the air. It's kind of mixed results from what I could find. But on a more romantic note, if you can consider what I'm about to say romantic, belladonna is thought to be the poison that Romeo drinks in the play Romeo and Juliet. So, I mean, it's kind of sweet in a really weird, messed up way, which I thought was kind of cute and romantic in a way. And although it's a really deadly plant, and I'm going to emphasize it again because I feel like somebody out there is still going to try to eat it, it's a deadly plant. There are, oddly enough, medical uses for it, which I guess isn't that surprising considering most plants have, considering that most plants have medicinal uses. So it's thought that when it's combined with, or the two compounds of it are combined with this one, which took way too many takes for me to try to pronounce, so the word's just up here. It's thought to help with motion sickness, pink eye, spastic colon, and I couldn't find necessarily if that's 100% proven because I found that it also treats asthma, hemorrhoids, and Parkinson's disease, but there's not good scientific evidence to back that up. I also found that in 2010, the FDA actually issued a warning against some homeopathic pills and gels that were made with the intention to give to infants that had belladonna in them, and that unfortunately had some pretty severe side effects, including breathing issues, seizures, and unfortunately some babies passing away, which that's really upsetting for me. But yeah, it's a deadly plant, so maybe don't try and do that. The only real one that I think I kind of can believe is the eye drop ones, because obviously we've read about the fact that in the past women did dilate their pupils with that. So there's that. And obviously with a plant this steeped in mystery and lore, there's going to be a lot of magic behind it. In fact, it's thought to be the witch's plant and is closely associated with witches and witchcraft, as well as magic. It's thought to be used in protection spells. It's also thought to be used as what gives witches their ability to fly, and thought to be the potion or the ingredient to add to a flying potion to give witches the power of flight. Now that could be due to the fact that one of the hallucinating properties or hallucinogen properties of this plant is the feeling of flight. So that's probably where it ties in. But I think it's just kind of cool to actually believe that maybe there's some secret flying magic in there, because it's pretty cool. And like I said, it's thought to be used nowadays or back then or by witches as protection spells. Like you could use it in protection spells and actually to enhance the abilities of the other charms within your roster. So if you have any kind of spell, it's kind of like an enhancer, you know, like here's your immune system, here's a vitamin, which I thought was pretty cool. It also obviously has its meaning within the language of the flowers, which are... Belladonna means silence and falsehood, and is said to mean a warning or death coming when it was gifted within Victorian times, and because of its deadly nature, death. Obviously, there's a lot of cool things that surround the belladonna, and for me personally, the fact that it's the witch's plant makes it the coolest part for me. You can see it in a lot of media. For me, what jumps to the front of my head is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's what Sally uses to poison the doctor with. You see her have this little tub of Deadly Nightshade, which, you know, it's kind of interesting. It's a cool plant. I'd probably implore you to look it up more. This is pretty much all the information that's there, honestly. But you can look more into it if you'd like, into its spiritual meanings and all of the other parts. But the fact that it is a witch's plant is one of the reasons I was drawn to it, because it fascinated me, because I'm like, what gives a plant a reputation like that? It's another nickname for Deadly Nightshade is Devil's Berries, which is just, whoa. But yeah. Thanks so much for coming with me while I learned about Nightshade, and hopefully you guys learned a little something too. Please like and subscribe. You don't have to, but I just wanted to remind you in case you wanted to, you know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another topic, another thing, whatever I'm gonna do next week. Did anyone else know that potatoes and tomatoes were in the same plant family as Deadly Nightshade? That's weird, right? I was gonna do a whole thing about selenium, or selenium, yeah. Sources for this one are a little bit hard, because from what I can understand, it's called that, Deadly Nightshade, to get wrecked. If you want, there's probably a lot safer ways. There's a lot more safer ways to do that than... My partner's home. Friends at people when it's their time, so pretty fitting. End your life in. Hi, Miss. Deadly Nightshade, also known as Entropa believing... Atrophy. Am I recording? So how did Belladonna end up from Julia? Sucks. You try to help somebody out and they end up being a rat. And I don't know. Despite being a pretty deadly plant, it has a couple of medicinal uses, surprisingly or unsurprising. I'm gonna stop flipping the paper.